The hotel key card trembled in my hand, its cheap plastic edge biting into my palm as the clerk's words echoed through my head like a gunshot. Room 412, sir. Enjoy your stay. My stomach twisted violently. Room 412 wasn't ours. Ours was 614, the room where Lena had kissed me goodbye that same morning. Her lips had been soft but distracted, her eyes already somewhere else as she zipped up her suitcase for her business trip to Chicago. I had driven her to the airport myself, watched her disappear past the security gate, her smile bright and practiced as she promised to call after her presentation. And yet here I was, 30 miles from home, standing in the dim, polished lobby of the Grand Meridian Hotel, holding a key to a room she had never once mentioned. The clerk, a wiry man with tired eyes, slid another key across the counter to a woman beside me, oblivious to the earthquake shaking my chest apart. My pulse thundered in my ears, drowning out the low hum of the air conditioning, the muted clink of wine glasses from the bar, the murmur of quiet conversations. Lena's voice replayed in my head, haunting and honey smooth. It's just 2 days, Mark. I'll be back before you miss me. Her laugh had sounded warm back then, hadn't it? Or had there been something forced beneath it? Something brittle I'd ignored? The key card burned hotter in my hand, like a brand pressed against my skin. I hadn't come here by accident. It started with a text, a calendar notification, actually, from an old shared app we'd forgotten to unsync. It had popped up on my phone at lunch. Meeting, Grand Meridian, 8 p.m. No details. No names. At first, I brushed it off. A glitch, maybe. A leftover reminder from some past event. After all, Lena was supposed to be in Chicago. But as the hours passed, curiosity began to gnaw at me, morphing into something darker, sharper, dread disguised as reason. So I drove, told myself I was just being silly, that I'd laugh about it later. But now, standing in that lobby, clutching proof I didn't want, laughter was the last thing I could imagine. The elevator ride to the 4th floor was suffocating. The mirrored walls trapped my reflection. A man in his 30s, unshaven, eyes hollow with disbelief. I wanted to believe there was a mistake somewhere in all this. Maybe she'd come back early. Maybe the meeting had been moved here. Maybe the clerk had confused the rooms. But as my thumb traced the embossed numbers on the key card, every hopeful thought frayed like a rope under too much weight. The hallway smelled faintly of carpet cleaner and stale coffee, a forced kind of luxury. Room 412 stood at the far end, its door identical to the others, yet somehow heavier, darker, like it knew what waited behind it. I froze, my heart hammering against my ribs. Every instinct screamed to turn around, to walk away, to drive home and pretend none of this existed. But my hand moved anyway. The lock clicked green. The door opened to darkness, just one lamp glowing faintly from a nightstand. The bed was unmade, the sheets tangled and messy, like a storm had passed through. Then came the scent. Lena's perfume, citrus and jasmine, sharp enough to cut through air and memory alike. My knees threatened to give out, and I caught myself against the doorframe. Her navy blazer hung over a chair, the same one she'd worn that morning. Beside it lay a crimson tie, unfamiliar, coiled loosely like a serpent. Mark. Her voice sliced through the silence. Lena stood in the bathroom doorway, wrapped in a white hotel robe, her damp hair clinging to her shoulders. Her eyes widened, not with guilt, but something worse, panic. "What are you doing here?" she breathed. I couldn't answer. My throat was dry, my chest tight. My gaze flicked from the tie to her face. Business trip. I finally managed, my voice low and shaking. "Chicago, right?" Her lips parted, but no sound came. She clutched the robe tighter, knuckles whitening as silence filled the room. Heavy, suffocating. Then a voice behind her, male, casual, and devastating. "Everything okay, babe?" Babe. The word hit me like a hammer. A tall man stepped out of the bathroom, shirt half buttoned. His tone relaxed until he saw me. My vision blurred. Not from tears, from rage, white hot and raw. "Who the hell are you?" I spat, stepping forward. Lena flinched. "Mark, please," she pleaded, her voice cracking. "This isn't what you think." "Then what is it?" I shouted, the sound of my voice echoing through the room. You were in Chicago for work, Lena. That's what you told me. So, why the hell are you here, half-dressed with him? The man froze, his confidence evaporating. He mumbled something about leaving, grabbing his jacket from the chair. Lena didn't stop him. The door shut quietly behind him, but the silence that followed roared louder than any slam. She sank onto the bed, face buried in her hands. I'm so sorry, she whispered, words muffled by tears. I didn't want to hurt you. Then why? My voice broke. Quieter now, trembling with something far worse than anger. Why lie? Why him? She looked up, her eyes red, her face streaked with tears. It wasn't planned, she said weakly. It was an escape. Work's been killing me, and you've been so distant lately. Always working late, always tired. I felt invisible. Her words stabbed deep, guilt mixing with fury. I wanted to scream that I'd been working overtime to save for the house she wanted, that every late night was for us. But all that came out was a whisper. So you chose him? She shook her head quickly, desperate. No, it wasn't about him. It was stupid, reckless. I just wanted to feel something again. I was wrong. I wanted to believe her. God, I did. But the evidence surrounded me. The tie, the perfume, the unmade bed, the key card still clenched in my hand. Every piece of it screamed truth louder than her words ever could. I trusted you, I said, my voice breaking. I trusted us. She stood, reaching for me, but I stepped back. Her hand fell uselessly at her side. Mark, please. We can fix this. I love you. Love. The words sounded hollow now, like a memory stretched too thin. I stared at her, searching for the woman I'd known, the one who laughed at my bad cooking, who held my hand at my father's funeral. But all I saw was a stranger wearing her face. My fingers tightened around the key card. Then, without thinking, I tossed it onto the bed. It landed beside her with a dull slap, a small, final gesture. I can't do this, I said, my voice barely more than breath. My heart screamed to stay, to fight, to make sense of it. But my feet moved on their own as I stepped into the hallway. The door closed softly behind me. Her sobs bled through the walls, sharp, piercing, a sound I knew would haunt me forever. But the real wound came later. When I got home, the house was quiet. On the kitchen counter lay her wedding ring, glinting under the light. Beside it, a folded note in her familiar handwriting. I'm sorry. I don't deserve you. Pinned beneath it, a photo of us from our first date, smiling, untouched by everything that would come after. Before love became a battlefield neither of us survived.